Welcome to Murder and Everything Else. My name is Joy.
And my name is Cheryl. Joy and I are two very old friends who love to talk about murder and everything else. So I'm going to talk about everything else. So, you know, I don't want people to be put out of jobs, but I don't like things coming in snail mail for those of you a certain age.
I love snail mail.
First of all, I have said this before, but I think junk mail through, the regular USPS mail should be banned and outlawed, and there should be fines for people that send. You know who's the biggest perpetrator of this?
Credit card companies.
AAA.
Oh, I don't have them, so I don't get anything from them.
No.
Oh, yeah, I do.
They want me to be with them. So they send me.
They want to get with you.
They want to get with me. That's right. They want to get jiggy with it. They send me thick.
3 Ks.
Three. Very thick. Crap of their
AAA crap.
Yeah, and they don't just send it once, they send it a gazillion times, and I don't know what tactic they're using because it's not going to make me sign up with them. In fact, it's doing the opposite. But anyway, so that should be banned. But also, I just feel like when you have a super important document or a check, this should all be able to be done digitally. So I sign up for advance notification. Does anybody do this?
I asked you if you deposited checks digitally, and you said no.
That's because I get, but sometimes you have to get them through. Anyway, so I was expecting a really important document, and I have those delivery notifications. So every morning you get an email.
That's what you should get rid of. Is you're sitting there waiting for something, and it's not ready to be delivered, and now you're stressed out about it, like when I'm waiting for my Zara package.
No, they show you images of the mail that you're going to receive that day, and I'm telling you, the few times where I see something in my images and I don't get it, I never get it.
I gotta tell
you.
It's
not like it's going to show up in the next 2 to 3 days. It's gone. Okay. So this important document, I know I'm going to have to go somewhere to get a copy. They're probably going to charge me, and it's not even my fault. I don't know where it is.
If I were you, I'd give it a week. Okay? Wait a week and see if it shows up, because we live in the country, and I just want to also add that one of the saddest things about Cheryl moving to North Carolina is that now I get 1 or 2 less pieces of snail mail yearly, because I love snail mail. And you know what I love more than snail mail? The junk mail. I love getting like cards and stuff in the mail. I love postcards. I just love that stuff.
Here's the thing. You and your family are very environmentally conscious.
Are we?
Conscious.
We're unconscious. We're unconsciously conscious.
Georgia,
we're environmentally, we are protectors of the environment.
Okay, so you are just creating trash with the
but you know how nice a handwritten card is? It makes you feel so good. Here's what I'm going to ask you to do. When it's my birthday,
you want me to send it
I'd
to
like you to take the card and put it in the mailbox so that it can get stamped and come back to me. Because I really like it.
What happens if I put it in there with your address?
They'll take it to the post office and they'll process it.
Oh my gosh, okay.
I love that idea.
Anyway, what do you all think? Because now this very important document is somewhere.
It's not that important. Everything's replaceable, even your birth certificate.
Anyway.
Even your passport, even your vibrator.
No, but stuff that has important, personal information on it should not be sent through the snail mail. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. What do you guys think? I don't want to put people out of business or out of a job.
Out of the business.
I think parcels, obviously, we have to send it. But I think letters and stuff.
But sometimes it'll say your package is out for delivery and it'll take 4 days to be delivered. So maybe it was scanned and maybe it's in the neighbor's mailbox.
Or it's stuck between the car door and the seat of the U.S. mail.
You never know.
Car. I don't know.
You never know. Anyway, guys, I have an update, and I just want you to know that this is going to be kind of like a reverse shout out, maybe a suggestion instead of an update. First of all, I have to take my bra off because it's starting to really annoy me. So the good news is, ladies, if you're listening out there,
they didn't need to.
They know how to take it off without showing an inch of skin, right? Am I right? It's just like my special skill, which is I know how to pee in public, in a public place without showing anyone my nether regions. Okay. Anywho.
I think people could have done without that last
I went to, you know how at Costco when you go out, they check your receipt. Yes. And it's for a multitude of reasons. Right. It is because
they want to see what you bought.
It's the kind of place where you have a membership. So they want to check what you're leaving with.
Everything's a membership now.
Also, remember, Costco sells things like 48-inch 1,000-feet TVs and trampolines and giant vats of olive oil and muriatic acid and tires. So they want to make sure that you're leaving with the stuff that you paid for, but also they want to make sure the stuff that you're leaving with you paid for. So it's a double-edged, there's two things there. So I went to return a pair of Birkenstocks. Yes, maybe they'll throw us some merch. It didn't fit my kid, so I took them back to a discount store by the name of Ross. And for those of you who've been to Ross, they do sometimes carry good stuff that's heavily discounted. Well, I go through and I return the shoes, and I also bought some hand soap. And as I'm coming out...
Wait, is this Ross or Costco?
Ross.
Okay, we went from Costco.
Yeah, because I wanted to talk about checking the receipt. So I pay for my stuff at Ross, and I stick my receipt into my wallet, and I put my wallet in my purse, and I go to leave the store, and there's a security guard standing at the door, and she goes, "I need to check your receipt."
And they've never done that before.
And I'm like looking at her
right?
like, first of all, lady, I have to go into my purse, which is like a black hole. Then I have to find my wallet, which is a secondary black hole. So it's a black hole inside a black hole. Now I have to look through my receipts, which is a third black hole. So we're talking about, and I'm holding a bag full of purchases, my cell phone, my car keys. I'm like, you gotta be kidding. And I'm trying to take my bra off, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I open it up, and there's like receipts fall all over the ground. So now, like, everything in my purse has touched the ground. My purse is hanging open. It's in a part of town that's not that good. So maybe I could be pickpocketed or robbed or mugged.
They could steal your receipts.
Yeah, I'm staring at this lady like, how hard would it be for the saleswoman to say, I'm going to put the receipt in the bag because the woman at the door will be checking your receipt on the way out.
Oh, that's too many words.
Tell people that. When I'm tucking it in say, don't put that away because the lady at the door is going to check your receipt. That's all you have to say. Just like paper or plastic. Remember when they would stop and ask you that? Or remember when they would say, how will you be paying today?
Well,
or
I have
do you
a
want me to
question.
split that? Or do you want to do that on separate checks? Do you want this all in one check or in two checks? Ask the question before people are stuffing the receipts away, because when you get to the door and you're holding a giant planter and all this crap, you don't have time to start rifling through your purse to look for a receipt.
Well, is this something new, or was she profiling you?
It's new.
Okay.
It's new, and it's because they're trying to cut down on theft. Mm-hmm. I get it. But the thing is that people need to know before they put everything away. So tell people. Anyway, that's my update. Tell people, okay? Everybody knows at Costco, you're going to show your receipt upon exiting the store. So here's a newsflash, Ross. Tell all the people at the register you only have to do it for the first month, because you know what? I'm going to go back again next month.
Right.
And that way I'll hold the receipt for her so that I don't put it away until after I leave the store.
Right.
Right?
Well, Well, we both have crusades that we're on. Mine is a male.
Journeys.
Yours is
my journey and your journey. Let's check back
it's
in.
A crusade.
Let's check back in next week and see how our journey is progressing.
I will update you guys, let you know if I got my very important document.
As I once told an employee that Cheryl and I had to write up, we feel strongly that this is your area of opportunity. And if you heard me say that to you 25, 30 years ago, and you heard that just now, I bet you're getting deja vu. Anywho, Cheryl, you got any updates?
Oh, I have a very gross and sick update. So Stephen Stearns pleaded guilty to the sexual assault and the pornographic material of Madeline Soto. He pleaded guilty so that he wouldn't have the risk of being put to death if he went to trial, because he probably would have been found guilty. So he pleaded guilty, but so he was going to have 2 trials, one for all the sexual assault material and the sexual assault, and then all the material, and then for murder separately. Well, he pleaded guilty to the sexual assault, and then for murder he pleaded no contest. And remember, we looked that up, and it's you don't admit to guilt, but you accept the punishment. I don't know, it's kind of weird, but and so, Madeline's friends and family gave really heart-wrenching impact statements, because he was sentenced right then and there, not like Brian Kohberger.
Her dad and her stepmom, right?
Yeah, they were there. And she had friends,
but the mom wasn't there.
But Jen Soto was mysteriously absent from the courtroom.
And Cheryl showed me a little clip of Gisela Kay, that attorney that Cheryl always talks about.
No, she's not an attorney.
Oh,
she has a true crime.
The true crime lady that Cheryl always talks about. And while Stephen Stearns was giving his impact statement at the very end of the sentencing hearing, she's rolling her eyes so much. It was actually very entertaining. Not him, but her rolling her eyes. So good on you, Gisela Kay. Thank you so much for all the eye rolls.
No, but he's so gross. He gave a statement, and I hated that he had the last word. He had the absolute last word before the court was adjourned. And he said how he misses Madeline and she's a joy. Ew. And it, from the mouth of the person that sexually abused her for years.
Gross.
And if not single-handedly, definitely was involved in her murder. It was so gross and disgusting and weird. Like, it was just awful.
Where was the mom?
And the mom didn't show up to give any impact statement on behalf of her daughter. To me, that's really telling.
Deadbeat moms.
I also feel like because he pleaded no contest, that he's saying, to me, it says, I didn't murder her alone. That's how I take it. It's my opinion. Anyway, so that's my update. Stephen Stearns pleaded guilty to some charges and no contest to others. And he's gross.
He's gross. Anyway, rolling on to shout-outs. I have 3 shout-outs today. My first is for J&W Automotive. I have shouted them out in the past. If you are local, you know those people know their cars. Thank you for taking care of my husband's car, my daughter's car, our collective family car needs. I have a shout out to my Baka-chan right here, Cheryl Mahalo. And she loaned me her car for 2 days in a row so I would not be stranded. I literally don't know what I would do without a car. I don't. I mean, we live rurally, so it's not. I mean, could you imagine what it would cost if I had to Uber around?
Well, I wonder what people who live in downtown Manhattan, for the grocery. No, but I mean, if you have to carry
Instacart. You only buy 2 things. Seriously, I have seen, you know what? You get that little cart with the wheels.
Yeah.
You go to your Trader Joe's. You see people in the subway carting that shit home all the time. And then my final shout out is to my kiddo who took me to Costco this morning. She came and picked me up. She even bought me a coffee.
Aww.
And it was ready for me. And we went to Costco and we bought things for her and bought things for me and bought things for you and bought things for the family. Anyway, that's what we did. And it was nice. I got to spend time with her. She is such a good driver.
Aww.
She is. Anyway, thank you,
Excellent.
Chloe. What about your shout outs?
My shout out is to our very slowly but steadily growing listener base. So I'm really happy. We have gotten more subscribers on Spotify and I don't know where else because Joy does all the data
On Apple
analysis.
Podcasts and also on YouTube.
So I want to thank you guys because it's so exciting to us when we see one subscriber that we've picked up.
True story.
It's so thank you very much. We'd love to hear from you guys or send us a picture of yourself because we sit here and we wonder who's listening to us. Who are they?
Yeah, and if you want to see a picture of Cheryl and I, you can head over to our TikTok channel, which is Murder and Everything Else, and you can see a picture of us. And also other pictures, and you can see information about different podcasts, and you can see different platforms we're on. Anyway, all sorts of fun things. There's an Instagram account. Guys, go check it out, okay? That's what social media is for.
So thank you.
Anyway, to this week, we are headed right back to murder. And guess what? I just turned that into a little song. You know what? Murder the Musical.
Oh, they've had.
Oh,
remember
my.
Sweeney Todd, and did they made Carrie? Oh, that was an earlier murder. Well, yeah, she killed people. They made Carrie into a musical. I didn't know that.
Really?
I don't think
Well, Cheryl, what do you have in store? What do we have today?
we got some
Motherfucking
murder.
Yes,
we do. Now, this was in the news a lot a few years ago because it's so crazy and wild. In fact, so much so that Netflix did a documentary on it called Lover, Stalker, Killer.
Whoa.
And I bet the guy whose life was upended or uprooted or disrupted, who's the center of this, never thought that he would be on a Netflix documentary. And I'm sure he would wish it was for another reason. But anyway, we are going to talk about a love triangle that turned deadly. What love triangle doesn't, you know?
Right? Not that we know. But
It's
you know,
not
it's
a good
funny.
position to be in.
Last week we talked about this jumbotron,
Right,
relationship. And so I feel like there's been a lot of infidelity, love, and then also Cheryl and I have been talking a lot about, because I read this book called More about a couple that was in an open marriage and what that was like and how they navigated their marriage and then opening their marriage up. And then when I was done, it's really well written. I passed the book along to Cheryl and I said, this is really well written. And it is well written, but it's also a really interesting case study of human behavior. So anyway, I feel like love triangles and open marriages and things like that are on the mind.
Yeah. So in keeping with that, my sources are collider.com, people.com, eonline.com, and of course Netflix. The Nebraska father of two had just gotten out of a relationship with his longtime girlfriend, and making the most of his newfound bachelor status, Dave Krupa had entered the online dating world. He created a profile for the dating website Plenty of Fish and soon matched with Liz Gollier. a 34-year-old divorced mom of two who owned a house cleaning business. The two hit it off instantly, but Dave stressed the fact that he didn't want to be tied down, and Liz seemed to be okay with the arrangement. Dave said that Liz was very smiley and energetic. She liked motorcycles. He had a motorcycle. It was a match made in heaven.
It reminds me of Best in Show where she's like, we have so much in common. He likes soup. I like soup. He likes dinner at 4. I like dinner at 4. And we both like soup. Like, I could just see him going, she likes motorcycles. I like motorcycles.
Well, I have to watch that movie. It's been so long since I've seen it.
Let me know when you're going to watch it because I'll watch it with you. I love that movie.
So about 6 months after he met Liz, Dave met Carrie Farver in 2012. First seeing her when she showed up at the auto repair shop he managed, and then connecting online. Dave said he felt a spark when he met Carrie. He said he was enamored by her spirit and her drive, impressed that she had gone back to school after having her son Max at a young age. She was just trying to make her way in the world. And on their first...
She went back to school at a young age, or she had Max at a young age?
She had him at a young age. So then she went back to school after having her son.
So she was young when she went back to school, too, if she had him at a young age.
Well, it depends at what age he was when she went back to school. Who's on first? She was just trying to make her way in the world, and on their first date, Dave made it clear he was absolutely not going to be tied down. That is Dave's first.
Dave wants you to know that he does not want to be tied down. Here's the thing, though. That's all good, but did Dave also say, I want to be in an open relationship or in an open marriage or in an open whatever? Because it's one thing to say, say, I don't want to be tied down. That means,
you're seeing
that means I don't want to get married, or I don't want to move in, or I don't want you to have a sock drawer, or I don't want to give you a house key. But does it mean that you're simultaneously dating other people? Maybe not.
Good point. That is a good point. He could just...
because when I met my husband, I said, I don't want to be tied down. But I meant I didn't want him to tie me down with ropes.
But that is a really good point.
And guess what? He's never tied me down with ropes.
Yeah, that is a good point. Well, anyway, he made it absolutely clear that he was not going to be tied down. And Carrie seemed to have no problem with that. So now, with 2 promising women in his life, Dave was living his dating dream. The first time Dave brought Carrie back to his place, Liz showed up, explaining that she needed to get some things from his apartment. Liz only saw Carrie for a few seconds before he ushered her out, so they crossed going in and out the door.
I'll tell you right now that was a colossal mistake. First of all, you never shit where you eat. He needed to have gone to Carrie's house, not brought Carrie back to his house. Something tells me Carrie might have been living out of her car.
Well, yeah, but he made it very, very clear that he was not going to be tied down. So why can't he have whoever he wants coming over to his house? So after a few weeks later, Carrie texted Dave expressing her wish to move in together. So he was really confused because he's like, I thought I made it clear that I, didn't want to be tied down, which, includes moving in together. So when Dave reminded her of their non-exclusive condition, she grew hostile and started sending a barrage of threats, including, your life will be ruined.
I told you. He said, I didn't want to be tied down. He didn't say, I don't want to be. He said he didn't want to be tied down. He didn't say, I want to be in an open relationship with more than one person.
Yeah. Carrie often texted Dave with the details of where he had been and whom he had met, letting him know that he was always being followed around. She sent texts such as, you've ruined my life. I can see you at work. I will destroy your life and take your happiness.
Oh my God.
Then, without a trace, Carrie seemingly disappeared from the face of the earth. Though no one saw Carrie physically, she kept interacting with the world virtually. She quit her job through an email and texted her mom that she was moving to Kansas for a better paying job. Carrie's mother, Nancy Rainey, said she last saw her daughter on November 11, 2012. At first, she wasn't too worried, knowing Carrie had met someone and was probably just busy. But after Carrie didn't show up for a family wedding, Nancy reported her missing, which led to sheriff's deputies paying Dave a visit. When Dave showed them the messages he'd been getting, the plot thickened. The text kept coming, and now the carefree dating life Dave had tried to create for himself descended into a hellish nightmare.
Oh, Dave. Dave.
Nancy told police that Carrie was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and had battled depression in her 20s. Carrie had been seeing therapists and was on medication, though there were periods when she stopped taking her meds. There's so many stories like this where someone's not taking their meds. After she'd filed a missing person report, Nancy got a Facebook message from Carrie saying, "I am not missing. I just don't want to come home right now. I love you all very much, but I need time." Meanwhile, Carrie's 14-year-old son Max was staying with Nancy, Carrie's mother. So Carrie also texted her on Mother's Day, but then the messages got steadily nastier. The investigation into Carrie's disappearance took a turn when Liz showed up at Dave's place to show him that her car had been keyed. Carrie had also been texting her, calling her a whore and vowing to do more than scratch up her car. And Dave thought Carrie was clearly jealous of Liz.
Okay, first of all, Liz crazy like a bag of like a crazy nuts.
Liz?
Both of them. Okay, obviously Carrie's got something going on, but Liz is crazy and dumber than a pile of rocks because when Dave started having these problems with Carrie, Liz should have hit the road. She should have been like, "Liz, over and out," and never come back, because I can tell you right now what's going to happen. And I don't know this case, but I'm just going to throw this out there. Carrie is going to hide under the bed or hide behind a tree or hide behind the dumpster or hide in the garage. She's going to jump out. She's going to stab Liz because she's crazy. Then she's going to stab Dave. And then she's going to turn the gun or knife on herself and stab herself. And they're all going to be dead. There it is, because Nancy's already taking care of Carrie's son. Did I call it?
Well, we'll have to see. Former Omaha police detective Chris LeGros said that the case seemed fairly routine at first, and they were seeing the initial phases of stalking.
Initial phases.
The messages kept coming, and Carrie texted Dave a photo taken from inside Liz's house. Whore, the word whore was spray painted on a wall in the garage. Wanting to protect Liz and her children, Dave acknowledged that they rekindled their relationship amid all the stress. So they got back together.
Yikes.
Carrie also sent similar texts to Dave's other ex-girlfriend, Amy, the mother of his children. Amy said she didn't want the children at Dave's place while he was embroiled in this situation.
Mm-hmm. Good for Amy. It sounds to me like Amy's the only one with any common sense.
Yeah. Months after Carrie disappeared, Liz called Dave to say one of his windows had been smashed. "Go away, whore" had been scrawled in red lipstick over the bed, and some of Liz's clothes were lying there looking as if they'd been slashed with a knife.
I just had a brain fart. Maybe Liz is setting Carrie up and Dave, and she's being crazy.
Maybe.
And trying to frame Carrie and make Carrie look crazy, because she's thinking, if I make Carrie look crazy and get her arrested, she'll go away, and then I'll have Dave all to myself. Either way, one of these bitches is crazy.
In August 2013, Liz's house caught fire. Her kids weren't home at the time, but her pets, 2 dogs, a cat, and a snake, were killed in this fire. So it was a pretty big fire. Not long after, she moved away and didn't tell Dave where she was going. Dave understood, and he felt badly that his connection to Carrie was causing Liz so much trouble.
But not enough to stop dating her. He's all, "You crazy like a bag of snakes, but guess what? I'm horny.
Are you free tomorrow?"
Yeah, that's right. My place, pizza, 8:00.
As for Dave, he acquired a gun, which he kept in a case on a high shelf in his closet.
Of course he did. Let me guess, it was not under lock and key.
By the spring of 2015, Dave and women he knew were still being threatened. But
women, plural.
Yeah, exactly. But aside from the steady stream of texts and emails, there was no trace of Carrie. Potawatomi, I love that name.
What the hell?
Pottawatomie
Where is
County
this?
Sheriff's Office.
Didn't you say it was like in Kentucky or something?
Where did I say it was? Now we have
Nebraska.
Oh, okay, yeah. Did I say that? I did say he was in Nebraska.
Pottawatomie.
Are we
I
still
bet that's
in
a
Nebraska
native. I
at
bet
this
that's a
point?
Native American word. I would love to know what that means.
Iowa.
Oh, wow.
Pottawatomie. I live at 123 Pottawatomie Lane. Pottawatomie County Sheriff's Office investigator Ryan Avis said there was really no proof that Carrie was alive. Their interest piqued. Ryan and his good friend, Sergeant Jim Doty, asked to be assigned to the stalled case, and once they got it, they dug in for the long haul. This is a really incredible story that the sheriff and this detective, so it's now 3 years later after Carrie just like disappeared and sent all these crazy texts. Other than 2 debits from Carrie's bank account made November 19, 2012, 6 days after Dave last saw her, there'd been no other activity. And Sergeant Doty said, it's hard to exist without money, which is true.
True.
There's no way, we don't use cash anymore, so there would be a trail, right? And it's now 2015, and that's the only 2 transactions. He and Ryan reviewed photographs of the inside of Carrie's house. This is where it's like, it's so important that everybody involved in an investigation does their part. And it sounds so stupid, but taking photographs, taking samples of things, because you might not have the technology now to do anything with it, but 10 years from now, like we didn't have DNA back in the day. Anyway, so on this special, you see the inside of her house. So they reviewed photographs of the inside of Carrie's house, and it did not look like she had left on a trip. They then enlisted the help of an IT specialist and volunteer deputy, Tony Cava, to trace where the hundreds of thousands of text messages and emails had come from. Tony was a computer whiz who had a brain tumor, and during the investigation, the tumor grew. And when doctors told him that obviously the brain surgery would affect his work on the case, he put the surgery off so that he could stay on the case until it was solved.
Whoa.
So these 3 guys, like, they really they rolled up their sleeves, dug their heels in. They were determined to find out what happened to Carrie, because she just dropped off the face of the earth.
Right.
So Tony, using a program he wrote himself, because in the documentary he talks about how he was trying to track down the IP address, but he's so smart. He was like, he knew what he needed, and so he wrote a program himself to narrow down the IP address and cracked it. He found the digital footprint linked to the home of Todd Butterball. I love the names in this
Butterball. You know what? But it sounds like Butterball, like the turkey.
Butterball, yeah. But
I wonder if he got teased when he was a kid.
Probably, but Todd, it's a great name. So Tony realized, okay, and this is how small this world is. Tony realized that not only did Todd work at the same place, he actually worked for Tony. So the IT guy finds the IP address. It ends up being his employee, Todd Butterball. And when Todd is questioned, he said his on-again, off-again girlfriend had been living with him ever since her house burned down. Whose house burned down?
Wait, she's also Dave's on-again, off-again girlfriend.
Yes, this is like, you can't write this crap. That girlfriend was none other than Liz Gullier. So all this time they had believed that Liz was the victim, but in fact, Liz was the stalker.
But the best part is, all this time Dave thought that he was like the best of both worlds in 2 different relationships with 2 different women, when Liz was actually in a relationship with 2 different men.
Yeah. Nancy said right when Carrie went missing, Carrie's father was dying. In Nancy's mind, Carrie would never have left because her dad was so sick. 2 or 3 weeks after he passed, Nancy had a very vivid dream about him. She talks about this in the documentary. In the dream, he told Nancy that Carrie was with him. Her mother's intuition told her that Carrie was no longer alive. Dave recalled crying when investigators delivered the news. He said it was such a mind fuck. And it didn't take me long, checking the boxes in my head, to come to the conclusion that Carrie was probably dead.
Whoa.
Unable to prove anything other than Liz had been impersonating Carrie, The investigators kept digging. On another dive through Liz's phone data, they found a photo of Carrie's Ford Explorer. So it's the picture of Carrie's Explorer is on Liz's phone. The vehicle had been in police custody since January 8th, 2013, and a single unidentified fingerprint had been found on a mint container in the center console.
What's a mint container?
Like a Altoid.
Oh, I was like, mint?
Hey, we're giving Altoid a plug. We give
I
a
could
lot
see
of people
cars having like pot containers, but mint? I was like, why would you carry herbs around with you?
Oh, you're right. This is my Baisley container.
Yeah, right.
This is
here's a little bit
parsley.
of coriander. Would you like some?
That's so funny that your mind went to mint.
I'm like, who carries herbs with them other than pot?
So funny. Oh, Altoid, you can also send us some merch. Anyway, now with something to compare it to, analysts found the print belonged to Liz. Around this time, Dave came home one night to find his gun missing.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dave, did you not lock it up? Or
hey, Dave. What are you doing, Dave? Do you have a safe? A gun safe?
Well, listen, he thought Liz was in the same shoes as him, right? That Carrie was terrorizing them. So he even got back together with Liz. So he probably told her where he hid the key or the combination lock to the safe. Anyway, on December 5th, 2015, 911 got a call from a woman who said she'd been shot by another woman at Big Lake Park near the Potawatomi County Sheriff's Office.
Potawatomi.
The woman with the gunshot wound was Liz, and she told authorities she wouldn't put it past Dave's ex, Amy, the mother of his children. She proceeded to start forwarding emails to the sheriff that were supposedly from Amy, in which Amy confessed to shooting Liz. Ryan, already sure Liz shot herself, recalled advising Dave to move back in with Amy to protect their children, yes, but also to elicit some raw emotion out of Liz. I thought this was like, wow. I mean, I know that they want to solve this case, but to tell Dave to move back in with Amy and the children are there, kind of to like, really to kind of get a reaction out of Liz, that to me seems really dangerous.
But Liz has already moved on and is living with Todd. Like, why does she still care about Dave?
Soon enough, the investigators said the emails Liz claimed to be getting from Amy escalated to what sounded like a confession to the murder. They described stabbing Carrie in her car, parking it in an abandoned lot, covering the body with a tarp, and burning it.
Unreal.
Authorities returned to Carrie's Explorer to look for blood. An initial sweep with a black light turned up nothing.
But they got a lot of semen, right?
They cut into the fabric around the driver's seat and found nothing. Then they pulled off the fabric from the passenger seat and found a big red stain. Liz was arrested and denied ever being anywhere near Carrie's car or even seeing it, although she had the picture on her phone, remember? She also denied ever creating or sending any of the emails in question and asked for a lawyer. Chief Deputy Brenda Beadle of the Douglas County Attorney's Office admittedly found the story really hard to believe. She remembered thinking, who's going to shoot themselves in the leg, for crying out loud?
Right.
And the prosecutor still needed more evidence if she was going to put Liz on trial for murder. She knew proving murder without a body was an uphill battle. IT expert Tony recalled asking Dave if he had any old electronic devices from around the time Carrie disappeared. Dave, I just found it so, like, I just loved how dogged these guys were. Like, they just did not give up.
No, they didn't. They could have easily just said, oh, done. We didn't find a body. We don't have, and she says she didn't do it, and, that's it.
The IT guy writes a program to find the IP address where all these texts and emails were coming from, right? Then they find it's her. And then she shoots herself, and they're like, no, we don't have a body, but this is, she's just looking really, really suspect. So Dave goes into his storage unit, and he finds a long dead tablet. Tony takes out the memory card, Finding nothing on it, he mined for deleted files. This is where you guys, even if you delete your files, they're not really deleted. Just a word of caution.
Pornhub.
He soon realized he was looking at the contents of Liz's phone from that time. Okay. And amid all the selfies and other photos, Tony said there was a picture of what he thought at first was a piece of rosewood. Upon closer inspection, however, he saw that it was a foot. A quick glance at his copy of Gray's Anatomy showed him the foot was in a state of decomposition known as venous marbling.
Ew.
And I will tell you, if you guys watch this documentary, he's looking at probably thousands of photos, right, deleted. And they're small, they're like little thumbnails. And he's sitting there and he's looking through all of them. And they're just all random pictures, right? Because when they showed it on screen, I was like, where? It's this just small little picture. And of course, he blew it up and then looked at it.
But why would that picture spark his curiosity any more than any other picture? That's the thing.
Well, it was of a foot. All the other ones
what's amazing is that, like, when they do those pictures where it's like 35 items on a tray, and then they're like, now name the I'm like, I'm lucky if I can name 3.
Yeah. No, but this
so
was
it's amazing.
A foot. This was a foot in a state of decomposition among all her other photos. Carrie's mom, Nancy, confirmed her daughter had a tattoo on her foot just like the one in the picture, the Chinese symbol for mother. While not physically possessing the foot itself, the photo served as a chilling piece of evidence linking Liz to the murder of Carrie Farver and suggesting she may have taken a keepsake photo. Liz was charged with murder on December 22, 2016. She pleaded not guilty. Her defense counsel disputed whether murder had occurred at all since there was no body. The defense opted to waive Liz's right to a jury trial, and the judge found her guilty on first-degree murder. Announcing the verdict, he called the evidence presented at trial overwhelming and said the court found beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant intentionally killed Carrie Farver with deliberate and premeditated malice on or about November 13, 2012, in Douglas County, Nebraska. Liz was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus 20 years for arson, and the 48-year-old remains incarcerated at the Nebraska Correctional Center for Women.
Wait, what about the arson? Oh, because she burned down her own house. You can get charged for arson for burning your own house down?
She killed, yes, people do that for insurance claims. Yeah, she burned her own house, Joy. She killed her dogs and her cat and her snake. Now, that's a harsh, killing people is one thing, but
killing your own animals?
I can't, yeah.
Yikes.
That is a heartless woman. Carrie's mother, Nancy, credits Jim, Ryan, and Tony for no less than saving her sanity. She said without them, she would still be in the dark. And although they can't bring Carrie back to her family, her mother, her son, they feel a sense of gratification that they were able to restore Carrie's reputation. Because for a while, Liz was going around saying Carrie was doing all this shit to Dave and to Amy and sending all, and to Liz. Yeah. She's saying she did it to her too, sending all these horrible texts. Whoa. Even though they didn't find her body, they were able at least to put this to rest so that people knew that Carrie was not, she was the victim. She was not the perpetrator. Dave says Liz ruined his life.
Okay, I just need to stop you right there. Liz admittedly was crazy, okay?
Yeah.
And reckless and a murderer and whacked. But Dave wanted to get his ding-dong in as many ho-hos as he could. And wanted to have, and remember, he said he didn't want to be tied down, which meant he didn't want to get married or be real serious. It doesn't really spell out, I want to be banging a lot of chicks. So maybe he feels like she ruined his life, but also I feel like Dave also needs to take some responsibility for the fact that maybe not wanting to be in a monogamous relationship and not being super honest about it might have also played a little part in that.
What are you talking about? He told them he didn't want to be tied, and that's what he meant by that.
I don't think he said, I want to date more than one woman at one time.
Maybe he did, and they didn't see that. he says she ruined his life, spending years thinking Carrie was out to get him and then finding out she'd been dead all along and that the person who he leaned on was responsible for killing her. It's still hard for him to process. Now 47, Dave Krupa lives a quiet life in rural Nebraska with his partner, but he still closely protects his contact information. He lives with guilt and regrets and feels responsible for the series of events that unfolded in this case. In investigating the case, those involved learned who Carrie was. She was a loving mother. She was a woman trying to better her life. Sadly, Carrie Farver's body has never been found. And that, to me, can you imagine being her mother and knowing that she was killed? You can't put her body to rest. And knowing that the foot was
decomposed. So what's her name?
Imagine how
what's her name knows where the body is. Oh, that's the thing.
Imagine if that happened to your child and you see this picture of your daughter's foot.
Liz knows.
And you know she's not alive. The foot is in a state of decomposition. And then they never find the rest of your daughter's body. I just think that's awful. But there's other things to talk about because there's the online dating, there's the text messages. I mean, I have to give Liz some, at least
she was a techno sleuth.
Yeah, technological kudos because, geez Louise. Although, it's pretty easy to set up a mail account, and when you put the name, you put the from or whatever, you can put whatever. So she could have just put Karen.
Yeah.
But she was doing it from an account
and she was doing it a while ago. That's the other thing. You know, it wasn't like she started this last week. So she had to have some pretty solid tech skills because she was pretty sneaky.
Oh yeah, what am I saying? No, she had killed her and then was texting from her phone and her email and all. What am I saying?
But also remember, this is before face recognition. You know, now everything's I can't even open my kids' phones because of face recognition.
That's good or bad?
Is it?
I don't know. Is it good or bad?
Listen.
But isn't that crazy? You just go on and see, this is why I won't go online dating. It's too crazy.
Maybe what I could do is set up an account with your name and your picture. And then I could do the online dating for you.
So when they run into me on the street and they're mad at you, then they take it out on me.
Okay, that sounds like a terrible idea.
But imagine, you guys, they crossed paths that one night when she went to pick up shit. Well, Liz was stalking him that whole time, so she sees him with Carrie.
Here's the thing,
and
with
then she's
all of the fish in the sea. Why?
Knock, I gotta pick something up from your apartment, and then she goes in and Carrie's there, and then
she
kills her
with all of the fish in the sea. Literally, why did she have to focus on that specific fish? That's the thing, is it's being in the wrong place at the wrong time. I tell you, if he'd been having his cable installed and she stopped by that night and the cable installer was a woman, she would have been trying to kill her.
Probably. But this is what I'm saying. You just don't know. And I know that it goes for anyone. You meet them in the grocery store or whatever. But there's something about online dating that I'm just I have certain opinions and feelings about.
But you can't really say because you've never tried it. I feel like
crazy could be right around the corner.
I feel like you have to really try stuff before you can say yay or nay. You know?
Well, I don't know. Anyway,
except for a few things, like the stuff that Liz did. I'm not interested in any of that. But listen, I think there's a really, really big lesson to learn in this. And that is, if you don't have a gun safe, then that is a huge crime. Huge. But you know what else is a crime?
What's that, Joy?
That we are out of time.
That is a crime. Well, thank you for listening, everyone. And don't complicate your day.
All creativity, commentary, and opinions in this podcast belong to Cheryl and Joy. Music composed and mixed by Gabe McKeon. Logo and merch managed by Cheryl Yamaguchi. Podcast editing, advertising, and social media managed by Joy McKeon. Legal representation provided by John Bojezic. Please like, subscribe, follow, and listen. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Audible.com, Amazon Music, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. And remember, you can find us on Instagram and TikTok, or you can email us at murderandeverythingelse@gmail.com.
Bye, fishes.